in an article by the Manila Bulletin published on the 24th of February 2019. It included excerpts from an interview with Philippine Navy Flag Officer in Command FOIC, Vice Admiral Robert Empedrad, discussing about the Del Pilar-class frigates. The FOIC mentioned that the Del Pilar-class frigates are actually not classified as frigates, due to the absence of certain combat features that can be found on frigates from other navies. Emphasis was given by the FOIC on the lack of heavy weapons, including anti-ship and anti-aircraft missiles and torpedoes. Currently, the Del Pilar-class frigates are only armed with guns, with the most capable being the Mark 75 Oto Melara 76mm, 62 caliber naval gun. So does it mean to say that the Philippine Navy's Del Pilar-class frigates will not be considered as frigates anymore, and will be downgraded into something else? What does the Philippine Navy's own classification standards say about frigates? In the 28th of April 2016, the Philippine Navy released a new classification, name, number, and categorization of PN ships, crafts, aircraft and ground equipage. This is now considered as the Philippine Navy's standards for asset classification. Max Defense will discuss more of this new classification standard in a later blog. In it are the following descriptions. Frigate, FF. It is a surface warfare ship designed for either anti-submarine or anti-air warfare. It has a displacement of 2,000 to 5,000 tons. A frigate can operate beyond the EEZ and participate in naval operations in a high-threat environment, based on the above description. The Del Pilar class was designed to allow the conduct of anti-submarine warfare, but it currently lacks the features. Also, it is currently not designed for anti-air warfare. While it has a displacement within the range provided to describe a frigate and also can operate beyond the EEZ, it cannot participate in naval operations in a high-threat environment due to its lack of necessary sensors and weapons for offensive and defensive purposes. Thus, based on the PN's own classification standard, the Del Pilar class is indeed not a frigate, and thus PN FOIC Vice ADM Robert Empedrad is correct. But does being correct based on the ship classification system mean that it is a logical move? Is a downgrade on the way? Last February 2019, Max Defense found out that the Philippine Navy leadership has already directed the implementation of recategorizing the Del Pilar-class ships from being frigates to offshore patrol vessels. Currently there is no specific category for offshore patrol vessels in the PN ship classification standard, but based on how things were made in other ships, it is expected that the upcoming changes will be made. *BRP Gregorio Del Pilar, from FF-15 to PS-15. *BRP Ramon Alcaraz, from FF-16 to PS-16. *BRP Andres Bonifacio, from FF-17 to PS-17. It is just a matter of time for the Philippine Navy to announce the changes in its classification of the three ships, which Max Defense expects to happen within a year. Once this happens, the Philippine Navy will officially have 0 frigates, which is a first since the Philippine Navy continuously maintained similar type vessels, classified as destroyer escorts. In 1967, the RPS Datu Kalantiao. Is a downgrade unavoidable? Was it really necessary for the Philippine Navy to downgrade the Del Pilar class from frigates to offshore patrol vessels? From a technical standpoint, it appears to be logical for the PN to reclassify the ships as offshore patrol vessels. But the real question here is, can the deficiencies be solved or not to avoid such downgrade from happening? Currently, the Philippine Navy has an ongoing upgrade project for the Del Pilar-class frigate, which is simply called as the Del Pilar-class frigate upgrade project. It is part of the Horizon 2 phase of the revised AFP modernization program, and has an allocated budget worth PHP 1.54 billion. Currently both Max Defense sources and FOIC Vice ADM Empedrad confirmed that the lowest bidder is a UK-based company. Of the 3 invited bidders under the limited source bidding mode of procurement, only Ultra Electronics is UK-based, the others being Sweden-based Saab Group, and South Korea-based Hanwha Defense Systems. Based on our information, Ultra Electronics is scheduled to undergo a post-qualification inspection (PQI) in a few weeks' time. Until an award is made on any proponent, Max Defense won't be discussing much, as there is no basis on who wins the job. The point of this project is to improve the Pilar-class frigate's ability to see and hear, which is the most important upgrade for any military ship. A warship cannot fight what it cannot properly see or hear, so this is an important step prior to any modernization of a warship's firepower. But having the sensor upgrade is not enough for the ships to be considered as frigates. Once it's done with the sensors, it is more logical to undergo an upgrade that would improve its capability to fight. A weapons upgrade should follow next. But even Vice ADM Empedrad mentioned that it would take a lot of money for the Philippine Navy to invest in weapons systems for the Pilar-class frigate, which means that the issue is now a monetary problem rather than anything else. So, can the dilemma of the Pilar-class frigates be solved? Yes, it can be solved. It's only a matter of giving priority in providing funds to upgrade the ships to include long-range and accurate weapon systems. Once the frigates are upgraded to allow them to see and hear air, surface, and subsurface targets better than ever before, there is no doubt that weapon system upgrades should be considered and made. In fact, a weapons upgrade can be made almost simultaneously with the sensors upgrade, which will allow for the savings in drydocking costs instead of doing such upgrade in another time frame. Among those weapons that Max Defense believes could help improve the capabilities of the Pilar class and keep them classified as frigates are the anti-submarine lightweight torpedo tubes, anti-ship missiles, and at least a short-range air defense system. A gun-based close-in weapon system, CIWS, is optional. But this means some subsystems that were not included by the PN in its upgrade of the Pilar-class frigates will need to be updated to support some of the weapon systems. Max Defense believes that the best template that the Philippine Navy could follow is the Colombian Navy's upgrade of its Almirante Padilla-class frigates, which are close in capability as the PN's own Pilar-class frigates. Greek naval blogger D. Mitch of Naval Analyses has an extensive discussion on the Almirante Padilla-class frigate upgrade, which can be found in their page. Among those that Max Defense recommends to be done of the Pilar-class ship are actually very similar to the upgrades made on the Colombian Navy frigates, which are as follows. 1. Replace the Oto Melara Mk.75 compact 76mm, 72 cal main gun with the new Oto Melara 76mm super rapid with STRALES system. This enables the ship to improve the firepower delivery of the ship by increasing the rate of fire the main gun can do. But the main reason is because of the STRALES system. This new system allows for all-weather engagement of multiple surface and aerial threats with high accuracy by combining the standalone guidance system with the new dart-guided munition family. The STRALES was designed to allow more accurate firepower that is not only effective against the ships at short ranges, but also against fast small boats, aircraft, and even as a close-in weapon system against incoming sea-skimming anti-ship cruise missiles. The STRALES upgrade makes the standard Oto Melara 76mm super rapid gun into a multi-purpose weapon system for almost all types of threats except subsurface ones. 2. Replace the aging Mk.92 fire control radar with a new model. The Mk.92 is already aging and would need a replacement to support new weapon systems. Currently it is supporting the Oto Melara 76mm compact gun. and if the gun is replaced with the new super rapid STRALES gun, using a new FCR would definitely allow the PN to maximize the use of the new gun. The new FCR could also support other recommended gun and weapon systems, including the Oto Melara 76mm Super Rapid STRALES gun to improve its accuracy and response times. 3. Install a new anti-ship missile system. A warship's primary purpose is to fight other warships, and in this day and age, the best way to do it is by using anti-ship cruise missiles that can engage enemy ships from more than 100 kilometers away. The Philippine Navy already has the South Korea-made SSM-700K Sea Star anti-ship cruise missile prepared for ordering soon to arm the new Jose Rizal-class frigates. It is also currently in talks with another missile supplier to build up the Philippine Navy's land-based anti-ship missile batteries, which Max Defense will discuss in a separate blog. Having a minimum of 2 twin missile launchers for a total of 4 missiles would be the minimum recommended quantity for the Del Pilar class, although it is better if the Philippine Navy can afford 2 quadruple launchers instead. The Philippine Navy planners should consider that in any war, the perceived enemy is expected to have more ships to fight against, and it would not take long for these missiles to be expended. Thus the recommendation for more missiles. Since the Del Pilar class were originally armed with the Harpoon anti-ship missiles during its service with the U.S. Coast Guard, Max Defense doesn't find any problem in installing anti-ship missiles again, even if it's not necessarily the Harpoon. 4. Install a new twin or triple lightweight anti-submarine torpedo launchers. With the upgraded Del Pilar class frigates having a new hull-mounted sonar for use to detect submarines, while also working with other ASW-capable ships and aircraft of the future Philippine Navy fleet, it is only logical for the Philippine Navy to arm the Del Pilar-class frigates with anti-submarine torpedo launchers. The Philippine Navy will need a lot of platforms that can conduct anti-submarine warfare, since it appears to be the core competency that the Philippine Navy is being formed into. Even if the Del Pilar-class frigate's ASW detection capability is not very impressive, the ship still needs a weapon to allow it to hunt submarines without relying on helicopters or aircraft. Like anti-ship missiles, the Del Pilar class doesn't have any problem with having the trainable triple torpedo tubes, since they were used to be armed with such system at a certain time during their service with the U.S. Coast Guard. 5. Provide for even a short-range air defense system. While it is expensive for the Philippine Navy to provide a new air defense missile system for the Del Pilar class, it is still relatively cheap and reasonable to provide at least a short-range air defense system (SHORAD) as a minimum to defend the ship not just from helicopters or aircraft, but most of all from anti-ship missiles. While the presence of the Oto Melara 76mm Super Rapid with STRALES is already a good solution, having the SHORAD as a redundant system allows for the ship to have more options in defending itself, especially on cases where the STRALES won't be available. A good example here would be MBDA's Simbad RC with Mistral SHORAD missiles, which is a standard system in the Jose Rizal class frigates. Installing 2 of these in each Del Pilar class frigate would allow for better air defense than totally nothing at all.